In this video, we are going to talk about curves. I'll start off by picking an image to use as a reference. To select our curve tool, first of all, click on this icon. Then click on curves. And here you have the tool. If you drag the curve up, it will make everything looks brighter. And if you take it down, then everything is going to look darker. Other than that, there are things that makes the curve tool looks even better and more preferable. Things like the ability to manipulate the highlight, shadows, and mid-tone of an image. The right side of this curve represents the highlights. The left side represents the shadows. And in between we have the mid-tones. You can make the highlights of this image brighter by taking the curves at the right side upwards, or simply take it down if you want it to be darker. The same thing goes for the mid-tones and also for the shadows. Beyond the lightness of the image, we can also work on the colors by going to the red, green, and blue channels. Do note that from these colors, we can get other colors like cyan, magenta, and yellow. So let's try increasing the reds of this image. And as you can see, the entire image becomes more reddish in color. But if we take the reds down, you will notice the entire image begins to look more cyanish. This is simply because cyan is the opposite of red. So also green is the opposite of magenta. And blue is the opposite of yellow. So let us take a look at this example. As you can see, the field here is very dark and the sky looks so bright. So let's see what we can do to correct this using the curve tool. The first thing I want to do is to increase the shadows for the field to be more exposed. As you can see, the changes we just made affect the sky, making it even brighter. So since the sky is an highlight, let's make it darker by dragging the right side of the curve down. And now it does look okay, but the sky seems to be lacking some colors. And I feel like adding some colors to it. Well, this image seems like a sunset, so I feel like adding some red to the sky. So let us increase the reds at the highlights. So now I would love to add some yellows to it so we can have a bit of an orange sky. But if you take a look at the channels, there is no yellows. Well, there is no need to panic. We can get yellows from the blue. Since yellow is the opposite of blue, so when we reduce the blue, we get yellow. So I'm just going to reduce the blue from the highlights. As you can see, the sky now has that orangey look. And from here, you can decide to click OK. But for me, I do want to see what effect the green can add to this. So let me start by increasing the greens. Well, I don't think green really works for this. So let's reduce it and see. And I think this looks better now. I'm satisfied with it, so I'm going to click OK. And from here, you can take a look at the before and the after. Now let's take a look at this last example. I extracted this model image from a different background. So let's try and blend it to its new background using our curve tool. Do make sure the model layer is active. Then you can open the curve tool. The first thing I notice is the brightness, because I extracted this model image from a very bright background. It does seem to look bright. So let's make the model a bit darker than the background, since the light is coming from behind him. Now let's work on the colors. If you noticed, the model has a lot of cyan and blue compared to the background. So let's try and fix that. First of all, I'm going to reduce the cyan, which simply means increasing the red, because cyan is the opposite of red. As a result, you can see the skin begin to look more reddish. So let's take the red in the midtones down, since its skin falls among the midtones. Now let's reduce some of those blues. There are still some blues in the highlights, so let's reduce those as well. If you look at the background, you will notice a lot of magentas on the highlights, especially on those rocks. Let's add some magenta to the highlight of our model by reducing the grains from the highlight. You know, green is the opposite of magenta. I think I'm satisfied with this, so I'm just going to click OK. So let's take a look at the before and the after. Now you can see how cool the curve is.